actually students are constructing, it's usually the best part for me because it's so, like they do it all themselves, I hardly have to step in. So I'm usually just making sure that, you know, everyone's being safe with the box cutters and everything, but usually it's quite hands-off. It can be interesting to see where students take things. The way that I run the class, I do it over 4 75-minute periods, so it'll probably be different for you. But on that third class, somewhere in the middle, I usually do a test. So let's tell everyone, put their tools down, take whatever they've got. One person in their group go up to the top, everybody else come down and help me time how the test is going, and we'll see like whose takes longer than others, and everyone will see how theirs is actually working, etc. And then once we've done that, I'll bring them in, I'll do a couple of things. I'll tell them the results. So I'll tell them, you know, they'll probably know already, but whose is like doing well, whose is not doing so well. But I usually like to use this time to encourage them while I've got them all together. So I'll do a couple of things. I'll ask them how, like if they had to build their entry again, how long would it take? So usually they just say like 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. So, I mean, they'll still have quite a long period after that. So it kind of gives them a little bit of hope. Second thing is, I'll just remind them that every minute they spend on the project actually is more valuable than the last minute. So until the last 15 minutes, they know as much as they can know, and then they can, even from 15 minutes to go build one. Sometimes I tell this story, sometimes I don't, but I had 2 girls once, and they were building their project. It was 10 minutes left, basically, and they were like, "Oh, we're finished, what are we going to do?" And I said, "Well, you know, why don't you try and make another one with what you know, and then we'll test them and we'll see what happens." Because they only had made one all up until that point, so I was like, all right, so they quickly made another one. I held them both up like this, which is how I usually run the tests in the class. I just hold them both up the same, then drop it the same and see which one wins. Anyway, the one they built in 5 minutes beat the one that they had originally done. And I said, "Look, girls, you know, you can only drop one, you have to choose which one." Anyway, they decided to drop their original one, and it didn't win, and maybe the one that they had done later would have won, but we'll never know. So the reason why I tell that story to students is just to let them know that don't get emotionally attached to what they've created. What's important is the result, not the thing that you've created. Because sometimes when I'm teaching like woodwork product design, you know, people get caught up in that one thing, whereas it's just an evolution really. And that's one of the good things about this project is students, you know, they can sort of see that there is an evolution that they go through that I'll tell you in another video. It's more appropriate in another video. But yeah, it's they kind of need to go through that, and they need to let it go, so it's just one of the lessons anyway. Yeah, so when I'm testing in class, as I said before, I'll basically, let's pretend these are 2, I'll just hold them up the same, all the students can do it, just go somewhere where there's no one around, and then drop them, have somebody else see which one hits the ground first. I also like to have something like a piece of balsa wood, let's say, if they don't have anything else to test against, and just test it against the piece of balsa wood and see if they beat it or not. Because a lot of the times, especially at the start, they think they don't have anything to do, but they can't beat like a piece of cardboard or a piece of balsa wood. So if they can't beat like a straight out piece of balsa wood, then they kind of know that they have to go back to the drawing board. And sometimes, well, a lot of times, when they drop things, they don't drop them and they don't work like they're intended. So for example, parachutes that like don't open properly and fall upside down. So doing the tests in class, they can do the test quickly and they can learn about it. And the students who do the best, they're the ones that eventually they'll just start, they won't do anything without testing it, and that's one of the places where you want to get students, because then they're learning the most.